Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and I'm very pleased because today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things happening around the city, including a couple of special events that we have coming up. But before we do that, we've got some city business with the mayor. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Good. I'm glad to have you with me. We're sort of sitting at my desk today together, which I know is not our usual setup. It's nice. It's a nice little bit of a change. I want to go back a little bit because we didn't do a show last week because of the holiday. We did publish the tour of City Hall. I hope people are finding that helpful. But you had a really special event with the Woburn Community Education Foundation.
Yes.
For your father-in-law. Tell us a little bit about how he was honored.
Yeah, so the Community Education Foundation had their Hall of Fame dinner and induction, and my father-in-law, the late Jim Foley, former principal of Woburn High, was inducted, which was a tremendous honor. I think most of Woburn remembers Jim, what a great man he was. He's been gone a couple of years now, but Woburn was a special place to him. He was a lifelong Woburnite, dedicated his whole life, specifically his adult career life, to the Woburn School Department. And it was a very nice honor to see him inducted. Most of the family was in attendance. His widow, Judy, my mother-in-law, was there to be able to hear all the wonderful things about Jim. We all knew it anyway, but it was certainly nice to hear him recognized in that forum. A well-deserved honor for a great man.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad we got to share your family and all of that and celebrate that this week. But it also leads me a little bit into the presentation that you gave, the speech that you gave at graduation this weekend. I was not sitting in the sun enjoying it in person, but I did get to watch it remotely. And I was really touched by your presentation. You talked about the difference between happiness and fulfillment. And I thought it might be nice, just kind of in summary, talk a little bit about what those things mean to you and why you chose to talk about that.
Sure. So it was my honor to speak at the class of 2024 graduation exercises this past Friday night. It was a beautiful night, huge crowd, great celebration of this class achievements. And I wanted to offer some thoughts to the class. I know that for the most part, they're eager to just get their diplomas and get on with their lives, if not their graduation parties. But I did want to take some time to just offer them some thoughts on this significant milestone in their lives. And I talked about my own experience in what I've learned over the past 40-something years since I graduated Woburn High. And what I settled on was essentially the difference between seeking happiness and seeking fulfillment, happiness being more of a temporary emotion and fulfillment a deeper sense of doing something that matters. And it's been my experience that when you do things for yourself, you probably feel happy. But when you do something for others, you feel fulfilled. And I think I just wanted to convey to them that if they choose a path that's focused on helping others, I do believe they will attain that long-lasting, deep fulfillment that is a well-lived and a worthy life. And I know I can tend to ramble sometimes, and I may have lost a few of them along the way, but I think the remarks resonated. I did have some of the students and their families come up afterwards and talk about it. So I hope in some small way it did impact them and maybe give them something to think about as they plan the next phases of their lives.
Well, I certainly think it's worth a listen. It wasn't that long. So anybody who wants to go take a listen who missed it, I would encourage them to do so. It was a nice little inspiration. And I know for me, it really came home. I've had a late in life career change working for the city and specifically working community outreach. And I definitely feel a level of fulfillment that I had a wonderful career and job and did a lot of good and interesting things, but it's a different level of fulfillment that comes doing a job like this. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do that.
As am I.
Let's switch gears. I want to talk money, which is not anything to do necessarily with happiness and fulfillment and under things, but really important. So we know that the budget is not yet done. We're into the process. City Council has been meeting with department heads. Some have gone, some are coming up. You've presented a budget to them for review and approval. There's been a lot of discussions from the school committee and things, and there's been hopefully a lot of transparency about the process that has been outgoing. And one of the things that you've been very transparent about, it is likely that there will be an increase in taxes for residents of Woburn to sustain it because of, commercial being somewhat flat projected and things. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about, we know it's not done yet, so nothing you tell us is we're going to hold you to necessarily in detail, but give an idea of what we think might be the impact to individual residents. There's a lot of worrying and concern right now about how big this tax increase might be.
Sure. So to your point, we are still working on the budget, which is typical this time of year. Having served 10 years on the council, I'm very familiar with how it plays out, and that the final budget is voted on by the city council, usually in the second week of June or so. And it's at that point that we understand fully the total amount of money the city will be spending on its services to the residents. Ironically, I just stepped out of a meeting that's happening in my office right now with our friends at the school department to try to better understand, even at this date, their needs, and to prepare for the questions that are likely to come from the city council to the school department this Thursday night when they have their meeting with the council. So as you said, the way it plays out, the departments submit a request, it's reviewed by the mayor's office, the overall budget is compiled, and a proposed budget is sent to the city council from the mayor's office. It's at that point that the city council performs its role. It scrutinizes every line item, it meets with every single department head, and it weighs in on what it thinks the budget should look like. That's what's happening now. They will conduct their budget public hearing on Monday night, June 10th, after which they will make a decision as to what will be the final budget for the city of Woburn. Right now, what's been presented to them is roughly a $3 million increase on the city side and approximately a $10 million increase on the school side. So if you do the math, the number in front of the council right now is an approximate $13 million increase year over year from last year. Now, we can go into great detail on what that increase consists of. It's primarily, as I said, on the school side. It's mandatory and contractually obligated requirements for spending. And that's what the council will be scrutinizing Thursday night. In terms of the impact to the individual residents, homeowners, it is really tough to say because we need to see how the commercial numbers play out as well as residential. There are factors involved. There has been in the past a very rough rule of thumb to the tune of, if the net budget increase is $1 million, it could be as much as $40 or more per average residential homeowner. That is subject to change, as is the underlying budget number, as I said. So we really do have to wait and see until the entire process plays out. And as I'm sure you know, the tax rate and the actual implication to the taxpayers isn't known until our budget is certified by the state and it comes back for action to the city council, usually late October, early November. The first tax bill that residents get is an estimated tax bill, and then the last three are more specific based on that certified and approved tax rate and budget. So that's where we stand now. We won't know for certain the actual impact to the average residential homeowner until the tax rate is set, but it is fair to say, and it is safe to say, that this year there will be an increase just based on the numbers we've seen alone from the school department side, which is more than half of the budget, as well as the city side. But I do not want to get ahead of myself. I respect the roles of all of the players in the system, including the city council. So until they decide what they would like to see, anything I say would be speculative. So I'd rather respect their role in the process and let it play out.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really good context, though, I think, for people to understand as they're thinking about this and measuring the impact. We have been a community that has been very blessed to have extremely low tax rates. That's come at a cost. And that cost might be catching up to us a little bit right now. And this is the year that we'll have to evaluate this very carefully. There's one item in particular that when you presented the budget, it included some potential savings on the school side. One of those items was an early retirement offering. And the projected savings the school committee built into their budget proposal that went to and that you projected was around $750,000. The numbers even today, now that has been offered to teachers, look to be considerably less. The Times reported $150,000-ish. I don't have it right in front of me. I'm not sure that number is accurate, but it's very likely to be much less than we might have thought. Now now once that number is finalized, what happens with that? What do you expect will happen?
So the early retirement concept came about as a result of the potential impacts of a robust redistricting within the school department. And there was the thought that we might lose a significant number of teachers. And we thought we could offset that impact by potentially offering early retirement to some teachers who might have been contemplating retirement a year or 2 or 3 from now. And there could be savings achieved by having a senior teacher retire early and have them replaced by one of our younger teachers who might otherwise be laid off because of redistricting. And there's a savings there. There's a delta between what the senior teacher makes and what the junior teacher makes. And if the math worked, we could retain the junior teachers, send the senior teachers off with our blessing and an early retirement bonus, and still save the taxpayers money. These were placeholders for a reason, because none of the math was known yet. That is starting to get a little clearer now. I know the school committee is continuing to have discussions about the impacts of redistricting. I know the timeline for early retirement, the deadline closed several days ago. Ironically, the meeting that I stepped out of in my office is with our school department friends on this very topic. So it really is a moving target, but it's getting clearer as we speak. And I expect that after Thursday night, when the city council has its chance to weigh in on all of this, we'll know better whether and how much the early retirement option might cost or yield. Because that's not known exactly right now, the numbers really are speculative, but I do think it's safe to say that the initial thoughts on what redistricting and early retirement might lead to have changed. And we'll go forward with the most accurate numbers we have at the time, we're having the discussion with the city council.
So thank you. Last thing I want to talk a little bit about, it's a little foreshadowing. So with all the things that we do for the city, and one of the things that you've said has been very important to you is to increase transparency and make sure we're communicating good things and bad things and, sort of neutral things, but make sure people know what's happening. And I've been working with our IT department and department heads on kind of a dashboard that will present many of the metrics that we track internally, so that the public has access and can see what's happening. That won't be available for a few weeks, but we're in that design phase and we've got the first set of data there. I just thought it'd be a nice opportunity for you to talk about why you felt that dashboard and exposing that information might be important to the public.
Sure. So each month we gather with our major department heads, the biggest departments in the city, police, fire, DPW, and we review statistics. We review not only budget numbers and tracking of overtime and all the money side of the house. We also review other metrics, number of crimes, response time for emergency medical calls, things like that. And we've learned that there's a lot of good information in those meetings. And we think it would be helpful for the residents of Woburn to better understand how their government works, what we do well, what we might need to improve upon. So we're trying to identify those tidbits of information that might matter most to the residents of Woburn. And the dashboard would really just be a snapshot way to demonstrate the most important things that are happening in each of our departments, just so that the residents are better informed. It may lead to follow-on questions, which we're more than happy to answer. It might lead to deeper analysis in some areas to learn a little bit more about what's happening, all with the intention of trying to deliver the best services, most efficient ways, and just continue to learn lessons about that as we go.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm really excited about it because I've learned a lot in the last few weeks participating and sitting into those meetings. So I'm grateful as always for the whole team that does really hard work and is willing and able to share a lot of the data behind how that's happening. And I look forward to sharing that and showing that on the show in a few weeks when it's available in public. Thanks as always, Mike, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I'm excited to have Mackenzie with us again. You met Mackenzie with me a few weeks ago as we were talking about the new and very important role of substance use and mental health coordinator here in the city. And we have a really exciting and helpful and hopefully educational and somewhat fun way of sharing information coming up at Showcase Cinemas. Mackenzie, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me again.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I've been having the pleasure of seeing all the work that goes behind our upcoming movie. Tell us a little bit about the movie experience and what will be happening next week.
Yeah, so super exciting. We are going to be showing a movie called Methadone Mile. It will be shown in Woburn here at the Showcase Cinema. And it is produced and directed by a couple local Massachusetts men who, have their own story. And what's really cool is they're going to be there to share their story, kind of share their inspiration as to why they made the movie and kind of what went into making the movie. So yeah, it will be on Tuesday the 11th at 7 o'clock. But we have some stuff set up for you guys before the movie starts. So we're telling people to try to get there by like 6:30, so you can take advantage of that as well.
You put a lot of thought into this. I think it's going to be a great resource and a great conversation starter, which is always really helpful. There's snacks too, which always makes me happy.
Yes. Everybody who comes will get a free popcorn and soda or water. So that's kind of, another cool thing to enjoy the movie with. Before the movie starts, though, we're going to have a couple local vendors come to share some of their expertise. So they'll have booths actually in the theater and give out some information. So the vendors include an agency called Lightwork, which is the first women's only mental health facility that I know of in the area. And they are so cool. I've gotten the chance to tour their facility. They do a bunch of trauma-informed therapies. They do things like yoga and art and music. And it's just such a cool facility. I recommend anyone go and check it out if they have the chance. We also have Woburn Healthcare Resource Center coming. They're a local methadone clinic. And I've also gotten a chance to tour their facility. What's really cool about them is they really accommodate everybody from, transportation needs to opening at like 5:30 in the morning if you need to get there before an early start at work. So they're a fantastic resource too. I'm excited to have them there. We have the Massachusetts Behavioral Health Partnership coming, also known as MBHP, to kind of spread awareness about their new behavioral health helpline, which is you can call or text in to get connected to any sort of services. And what's really neat about them is they have translators in 200+ languages. So if you got a need, they got an answer for you. It's a great way to kind of get connected to any sort of service from, low-level outpatient to inpatient residential level care. And then the last vendor that we'll have there is a Mayflower, which is a detox and residential facility over in Wilmington, very close to us though in Woburn. And they kind of have this like boutique style of like a detox and residential program. And again, I've gotten the chance to tour there. I recommend anyone go check it out if they can. It is such a neat facility. They offer really individualized treatment for anyone. They work, again, you need transportation, they're going to help you. They're not going to let any barrier to support get in your way. And the person who's coming to kind of booth that table is a man who is, I think his title is a family outreach coordinator. He works with families who, you know, are supporting someone struggling with substance use. And he, you know, talks to them about options, talks to them about resources for both that person and themselves. They really help navigate the process because unless you're living it, you don't know it. So I'm excited to have him there. And it's going to be a really great event.
I'm really excited. Thank you for pulling together these really valuable resources for us as a community and coming together in a way that will inform conversation and camaraderie and care. And so thank you. I'm looking forward to being there and I can't wait to see lots of people. We can see the first 100 people, which I think will be lots of great space, but it can accommodate a pretty big group. So we hope to see lots of folks there.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point, Samantha. I would like to say viewer discretion advised. The movie is, you know, very real. So do with that as you will.
Yeah, we're recommending 16 plus because
Yeah.
of the nature of the content and for you to use your good judgment about your own people in your life, whether this is something that will be supportive for them or something that might be difficult for them.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Mackenzie, very much.
Thank you so much.
Next up, Wendy and Marie. Marie runs our senior center and she's been a big friend of the show. We've had on many times. And Wendy, I think this is the first time you've joined us, but you were the Friends of Seniors. I'm very excited to have you both.
Thank you for having us.
So I'm very excited because there is fun moving and grooving happening. And I love the idea of a dance being a fundraiser. Wendy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the event that's coming up?
Yes, Wednesday, June 12th from 6:30 to 10 p.m. We're having a Friends of Seniors Spring Dance Fundraiser to help defray the costs of different programs and things that we want to purchase for the seniors of Woburn. It's going to be co-sponsored with the Woburn Elks, the Woburn Stoneham Elks, and it's going to be split into two portions. A great ballroom dance leader, Ray Cavecchio, and also I just found out today they're adding a saxophone to the music ensemble. And these ballroom dancers go around from different towns and just to watch them dance. I'm not a ballroom dancer, but it's just very exciting. And then from 8:30 to closing, they're going to have an oldies live band called, I just want to look at my note, Rich and the Famous.
That sounds like a ton of fun, Wendy. Thank you. Marie, tell us a little bit about how the funds raised might be used to support our senior residents.
Yeah, so the Friends Helping Seniors is an independent 501c3. They've existed for about 20 years. They fund lots of stuff that we do at the senior center. In fact, they pitched in a third of the last new van that we purchased. They pay for things like supplies for parties. Sometimes they'll buy lunches, other things that we need at the senior center. That just a very generous group. And for this event, the Alex has generously chosen the Friends Helping Seniors for this grant that they received from, it's the larger Elks Association, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The National
for dinner of Medford. So we got to up our game because of the Elks. So we're really grateful to them. And the proceeds from it, that allows us to offer more, charge a little bit more, and bigger proceeds will go to the Friends Helping Seniors.
I love that. Wendy, I know that this is going to be jam-packed with music you've shared with us. What else can folks expect for the night, and where should they get tickets?
The tickets can be purchased at the Woburn Senior Center on 144 School Street. However, because of the dinner involved, we need to get them a count by Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the 5th. And sales are pretty, when I left the senior center today, they were at 115, I believe, and we have a limit of 150 for the dinner.
So get your tickets
So-
now.
Yeah, get your tickets now. And we're going to try to pull together some raffles and a 50-50 within the next week and a half to have extra fun. But
Great.
plenty of dancing, good music, good time, great people.
We'll do some raffles. We're gonna get some gift cards. The friends will get some gift cards. I think the Elks said they were gonna do maybe a scratch ticket tree kind of thing, a basket. So that'll be fun. And lots of food from Avellino's, chicken parm, raviolis. I think there was some eggplant in there.
Hungry.
Yeah. And baked haddock for seafood.
Oh, and
I love it. It sounds amazing. Go get your tickets. This is going to be a lot of fun. It goes for good cause. Marie, before I let you go, when we wrap up the show, I do want to just ask you something about, put you on the spot, because there's lots of things that are happening at the Senior Center, in addition to this, including an upcoming summer kickoff. I just wanted to give you a chance to spotlight that, or anything else that you wanted to chat about.
Sure. Yeah, we have the next day, so on the Thursday, the 13th, we're going to do a summer kickoff, and that is with money supported by our regular budget. So thanks to the mayor and the city council and the taxpayers for that. Everybody's invited to come. We're going to have some music starting at 11 with Tammy and Jay. They're actually from Prince Edward Island. They traveled around. Last time they were at the center, everybody loved, music and food. You can't go wrong, right, Samantha?
My favorite things, as you know.
And Corporate Clam Bake is it will be hosting it again. And the menu, everybody thought it was lobsters. It's not. We're not that rich, but hamburgers, hot dogs, grilled chicken, sausage, peppers and onions, pasta salad, and strawberry shortcake for dessert, which everybody loved. So
it didn't matter what else you said. You said magic words for dessert. I'm there.
Yeah. And so we're going to have some door prizes. Everybody pays $2 to get in. It's really a nominal fee. And usually what we do is buy some market basket cards or other gift cards that people can use. And it's just a time for friendship, celebrate the season, get together, share some food and some music. So it'll be good.
I love it. I can't wait to see everybody moving and grooving and enjoying all that amazing food. Thank you. I'm spending, at least for a few weeks, a couple days a week, a few hours a week, I'm at the Senior Center directly. I'm excited by the folks that I've met so far. I look forward to meeting more folks as well while I'm there, and really looking forward to this event. Thank you, Wendy and Marie, for joining me.
Thank you
Samantha,
very much.
offering to come over and help with outreach and come over and learn more about what's happening in the Senior Center. We appreciate having you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's excellent. Woburn, there's a lot going on this June. All good things, all amazing things that are happening because of residents like you who do incredible work and bring our community together. We're lucky to have that. I hope you're able to attend many of those things. And as always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.